Episode 146. I am back with Captain Fantastic, Blake Perry, who was kind enough to return to the show from his grilling adventure. He just came back from his patio, and he's wearing a lovely apron, and he looks fantastic. So happy summer to you, Blake, man. You look
Yeah,
great.
thank you,
Yeah.
man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, so what's on the grill tonight? T-bones, steaks? What do you got going on?
Yeah, man. I've been watching a lot of MasterChef, so I've been really working on my presentation and trying to perfect some cream fraiche and all those things with some quail eggs and whatever fancy stuff they eat.
I want to start with your teammate, Terrance Saeteurn. I know he made his professional debut shortly after you did. I was so excited for him to have that opportunity. Can you talk a little bit about like what that experience was like watching Terrance do so well in his pro debut?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, that was super fun. So me and Selena and actually my mom too came out. We all had ringside tickets, and yeah, man, Terrance did what Terrance does, dude. He went out there and honestly, from the whistle, just kind of took it to him and threw everything at him in the feet. It was, I think, like 42 seconds or something. It was a quick fight, but he threw just about everything, man, from flying knees to, but yeah, he hit him with that. I think it was a left hook, but
Yes.
it's crazy too because he's not even a southpaw. That was like his lead hand. He just cracked him, and he's definitely got power in both hands, and he's proved that. But man, as far as being there, that was so fun, dude. It was like that place was electric too, and it's fun to watch Terrance win too, because I mean, obviously he like works his ass off and everything, but also in the moment too, he just gets amped up and like everyone in there feeds off it. It's going crazy. Like I'm in the crowd with like his family, and they all just have Terrance shirts on, right? And
Right.
there's like random people, I have no idea who they are. I'm like bear hugging them if they have Terrance shirts on. We're like, let's go. Some dude, there's still people I legit have no idea who they are that I was like hugging and stuff.
So, did you take Terrance to Chuck E. Cheese after the fight, and did you guys have a good time?
Yeah, dude. Actually, I dropped him off for his shift. He works there.
Is he
So
Chucky? He
yes.
won't. Okay, I figured he would never admit
Yeah.
it to me. I pressed him. He never
Yeah.
broke. But you thank you for confirming that.
Yes.
It was absolutely something else. You know, one of the greatest things about that fight, though, Blake, I was able to post a highlight clip of Terrance taking care of business, knocking that guy out,
Hmm.
and the promotion, Uriah Faber's promotion, they didn't get angry with me. Unlike some other people that yeah, some other people do not like me right now. Not really sure why that is. I hope I can get in their good graces again very, very soon. Anywho, Blake, I wanted to ask, there's been so many things that have been going on with you. And like, it's just, there's so many emotions that come when you're watching somebody else compete. You don't have control over it. It's one thing when it's like your homie. It's another when it's your mom. Your mom was in. I'm not making this up. I'm being 100% sincere right now. Blake's mother was in an exhibition boxing match not that long ago. You're watching your mom being able to compete. That is like got to be one of the coolest yet out of most like it's got to be an out of body experience in a way to watch your mom like fight. Like I don't care if you do have the headgear on. I mean that's just no one wants to see their mom get like popped in the face, even if it is for sports. So I have to ask, like, what was that experience like? I'm sure you worked with her a lot to get her ready for that, and for her to like win the bout the way that she did, that had to have been one of the coolest things of your entire life.
Oh man, it was, dude. It was so cool that to the point that I like flew out to Ohio for like legitimately a 1 day turnaround. I was like, no matter what happens, I'm not missing that, man.
Yeah.
Even our flight tickets ended up being a whole fiasco at the airport to where we ended up missing our flight, and
Ugh.
it turned into a whole thing. But long story short, I was able to get one singular ticket to go out to watch her fight, because originally me and my girlfriend Selena
Mm-hmm.
were supposed to go, and we had tickets, but a bunch of stuff happened at the airport. And long story short, the only way either of us could get out there on time was if just one person got a ticket that night. And So essentially, I paid for 2 sets of plane tickets just to get out there.
Wow.
But yeah, man, went out to Cleveland, Cleveland, Ohio, and it was so fucking fun, dude. So fun. But yeah, man, it was a legit show, like a legit amateur boxing card. Yeah, out in Cleveland. It's called War on the Shore. But yeah, I think there was like 15, 16 fights, and one of them was my mom, Denica Perry. Um, yeah, man, it was crazy to see. I think she's 52, and I think her opponent was probably like 42, 43. I think my mom had about 10 years on her. But yeah, man, they got after it, dude. It was a kind of a 3-round war, dude. Went out there, and my mom's been training for a long time. It was her first fight, but she's been boxing for quite a few years, and she actually coaches, like she runs classes, and so it was her first fight, but she's not new to the game because her opponent actually, I think that was like her opponent's fourth fight or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and they put her against my mom just because my mom's been boxing for a while.
Sure.
But yeah, man, the chick she fought was like 3-0 or 4-0, and my mom went out there and put the paws on it, dog.
I mean, I tell you what, that is one of the coolest things I've ever heard about. And just having the courage to like put yourself out there at that age, like that's I don't care like what age you are, but like especially when you're like your mom, right, 50 some odd years old, getting ready to like fight somebody for no money just to prove to yourself that you can do it. That's kind of
Yeah,
insane, and all the more cooler that she was just able to do that and win. That's the cherry. The winning and
yeah,
losing had nothing to do with it. It's just she did it, and
bro, that's
that had to have made
exactly.
you so proud.
Yes. That's like you nailed it. That's exactly what I told her because like that week leading up to the fight and even the day of the fight, she's had a bunch of nerves going, like
Yeah.
rightfully so. And but she's like, I'm afraid I'm gonna look stupid or I'm gonna go out there and like I just get nervous because there's so many people there watching. If I look dumb in front of them, I'm like, Mom, you're 52 taking a boxing match. Like, you realize how fucking cool that is?
It's
Like,
way
you
cool.
could. I was like, I don't care if you lose on the first punch. Like, you're 52 and you're having a boxing fight. Like when I would tell people, like people thought I was like making a mistake when I was saying it. Like, hey, I'm like going to my mom's fight, and they're like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, like my mom has a boxing match. And they're like, what the fuck, really?
Right.
They're like, that's so cool.
That's
Yeah,
exactly how I reacted, and I think it's so cool. And I would tell your mom this if she was afraid of looking dumb. Watch Dada 5000 take on Kimbo Slice. It was like 5 years ago. Watch that shit show, and I promise you, like you could be on hallucinogenic mushrooms, and you'll still not look that bad. You'll do great. Props to
fools
your
are
mom
having
for
like
going
heart
out
attack.
there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Dada 5000, I think, went into cardiac arrest. Like I'm not kidding. I really think he did. Yeah, it was a complete shit show. Worst thing I've ever seen. But how cool to say like, you know what? No, I've made that walk. I know what that feels like, and I did it at this age. Like you're talking about a very, very, very small sample size of the population. I could say that, and good for her. I think it just like I'm sure it did a lot for her own self confidence, but just her peer group, you look at that and it's just like, yeah, not only am I like a mom to an adult, but like I'm out here, I'm doing this, you can too. And like that's something that I think anyone could take a look at and be like, wow, like she went ahead and did it. What's my excuse?
Yeah, exactly. I get that same feeling too, honestly. Like, if I'm like, oh man, I'm kind of sore from sparring yesterday, or my body's
Right.
kind of, whatever. I'm like, dude, your fucking 52-year-old mom just fought. Like, get the fuck up and
Yeah,
stretch out. Like, you're
exactly.
fine, right?
Blake, I wanted to hit up on something because just having followed your career for the amount of time that I have, it's you are that perennial like B-side fighter that I don't know what it is, but people tend to like, at least in the past, it's like, yeah, okay, this guy's pretty good, but you know what? Like, we like this matchup for our guy. We look at his record, like, yeah, he's a pretty good wrestler, but whatever, he's a wrestler, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can manage this guy. We can figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
And you get an opportunity to make your pro debut, and I feel like that storyline that I just mentioned got blown up into like insane proportions, like stuff I'd never heard of before. Like I was looking, because I'm a degenerate MMA gambler. I told you this. I looked at the lines. I was just like, dude, you're like a plus 700 underdog. And for people who've never gambled before, I hope, number one, that you still listen to this and don't think I'm the devil. But number two, this is basically how that works. If I were to bet $100 on you to win that fight, I would have gotten $700 in return. That's basically what that works. That's how that works. So like at any professional level, when you see odds like that, it's not very typical you see something that high at this level of MMA. Like there's some crazy boxing lines out there. We won't get into that. That's for another day. But for MMA, you're talking about the most unpredictable sport ever. And if you're talking about two professionals going out there, yes, there are favorites, but typically not to that degree. I told you what those lines were. I wasn't sure if I should, but then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna tell you anyway. And when you looked at that, and just the sense that you got from being in Hawaii, we talked about you being B-side. We talked about you being brought in basically for Cooper. Basically, like they brought you in for this guy. They wanted to feed you to this guy. You're like one of those guys that's pretty chill. There's really not a whole lot that kind of like gets under your skin, or at least doesn't look like it. But like having been B-side your entire AMI career, you've worked your ass off to get to this level, to earn this call up. Did you ever feel like disrespected? Like, do you ever start taking that stuff personally after a while? Because I know I would if I were you.
Yeah, I guess it's like, it's one of those things where I try not to, let it get too personal. But yeah, I mean, that one was like, wow. Like I was honestly, I knew going in, obviously I was going to be an underdog for, whatever reasons, whatever.
Just because of name recognition, right? Because it's
sure. And he's fucking good too. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from he's an extremely good fighter. Sure. But yeah, man, I seen that, or I heard that like fight week or whatever, because I had a bunch of people. I had plenty of people tell me, don't worry, it wasn't just you. I think just about like everyone that I was friends with in my hometown who was like, hey man, we just bet on you. You're like a plus 700. I was like, Jesus, really? Like, god damn, like it's so.
The day of the fight, it jumped up another 50. So I think by the time the fight actually happened, it was like plus 750.
Like I don't even know how that happens. Fight, does that mean they've seen me and they're like, oh god, like be like crank that up 50 more? Like
I think, well, basically what happens is it becomes like the stock market effect. So if you get a bunch of action on the other side, then they're going to raise your odds to entice people to bet on you.
Okay.
So they set like that baseline, and then it just kind of grows from there. Dude, I saw that. I won't tell you how much I bet on you, but thank you. That's all I'll say.
Oh yeah, dude. Happy, man. But yeah, no, that was pretty. I was like, wow, like that even surprised me. Mm-hmm. But in a weird way, it's almost like kind of freeing in a weird way, because like it literally can't. Like the worst possible scenario is what everyone already thinks is going to happen.
Yeah.
Like if you're that much of an underdog, that's like, bro, like 750. That's like if I was to go outside right now and fight a hobo, like the hobo would be plus 750. That's so bad, dude.
Well, right. Like, if you were to go outside and like, I got to fight you, I would, like, if I was plus 750, I'd be like, hey, that's actually pretty good. I'm okay with the plus 750, but like we're talking about like a professional, and it's not like we're asking you to fight Gegard Mousasi or anything like that. Like you were fighting a guy, and I'm not trying to throw shade at Cooper, but you're talking about a guy with one pro bout of experience over you. Like that was insane to me. It made no sense.
Yeah, but hey, it's all good, man. Go out there and it worked out. And I'm happy to move on to the next one, to be honest.
Well, I really kind of wanted to ask your insight on a couple things. So when you get over to Hawaii, before you get into the actual fight part of it, I know there's a bunch of things that happen behind the scenes. I know that there are probably a bunch of forms you got to fill out. And there's probably a bunch of like boring medical stuff that you also have to do, but then there are like photo shoots, and then there are all these other things that you have to do. Was there, from a preparatory experience, you've been in a lot of promotions before, and I'm sure like there's a somewhat of an established routine. They're just slightly different depending on the promotion. But was there anything unique that happened behind the scenes of all of that in Bellator that you're like, oh wow, this is different?
Well, for me personally, there was a ton that was unique. Just it being my first pro fight and then on such a big platform, because I've never had a fought for any promotion that had like photo shoots that were more than
Right.
just a fight photo,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
photo shoots and all kinds of interviews and promos and just all that cool guy stuff,
Hmm.
to be honest, I've never done any of that before this last fight. So there was a lot in the on that side of things. The like publicity promotion type stuff. It was all new to me. So I'd say that was the biggest unique factor that I faced.
I was told, I've been told by a lot of fighters that for a lot of these promotions, a good part of it is you're just kind of like standing around waiting a lot. It's not really it's not very glamorous as what you might think. There's certain things that you need to do, but it's actually kind of boring. Like you're just kind of standing around, like waiting to fight. And for some people, it's like, dude, like I don't like being on the main card because you have to fight. Like you're like the last fight. It sucks. I just talked to one of my friends. He's in the main event for his fight, and he's like, "Dude, I hate being the main event. It's like I don't care about the 5 rounds. It's just I don't like having to stand around and like wait to fight. I want to get in and get out." So for you,
Yeah.
completely different experience. You were the very first fight. Did you stay for the rest of the fights, or did you leave? Like, what did you end up doing?
I think first off, I agree. I being early is the best because
Mhm.
he's got so much like nerves and you just like you said, you want to go in there and do the thing, get out. But yeah, I think that wasn't a huge card because they split it into 2 days.
Right.
I think there was probably like 6 or 7 fights the night I fought,
Mm-hmm.
and we stayed probably through like 5, and then I think we dipped out before the last fight or two, just to avoid traffic and stuff, and hit
Sure.
the bars extra early, and start the night, have fun, get some food and everything with the family.
When I think back to that fight, and I asked Terrance about it a little bit, without getting too much into it, because this is probably a boring question for you, but from a game plan perspective, Terrance said when we were training, when we were prepping, when we were getting ready, we knew this guy was going to come out hot. We knew he was going to be aggressive. We knew we were going to have to probably weather a storm for a little bit, but there would be an opportunity. And what I love so much about you being the first fight is it was still filling in, so you could still hear the corner pretty good. And I
Mm-hmm.
heard them asking you for stuff. I heard Coach Sonny asking you for stuff. I heard Terrance asking you for stuff as the bout was unwinding. And that was just sitting on my couch. I heard them. Was it crystal clear for you when you were actually fighting, or was it a little bit of a different experience?
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it was. Because like you said, it was the first fight, so the place is still gradually filling up.
Right.
Which as a fighter was awesome, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, just to hear. And I think for a lot of the fight too, like if I remember right, I think majority of the time when I was on bottom against the fence, I was right by Sonny and Terrance. So it was like I was able to hear every little thing, and which is, I mean, that's massive, because it's so easy to get lost in it when you're fighting. If someone's on top of you, elbowing you in the face or hitting, it's easy to just go back to old habits and
Sure.
go in survival mode and try and get out, and whereas you got someone on the outside, just like Coach Sonny calls it, he said it feels like he's playing a video game with some of us, because he's
Right.
watching and he can see stuff from the outside, and vice versa. When I'm watching Terrance fight, whoever it's easy in the crowd to kind of give advice and see things that might seem super obvious to people on the outside, and you might miss it in the chaos of things. So
I think it's one of those things though where it's easy for people like me to be like, oh, this guy's a piece of shit. He's a dummy because he's not doing what his coach is asking him to do. But it's like, yeah, but you're not getting like elbowed in the face either. So it's like let's try to like put context behind it because you're in a war and at the same time you're trying to listen and it's very different. Like
Yeah,
it's a completely different set of circumstances. And if
sure.
anyone says it's easy, it's like I don't think I don't think you really know what you're talking about. But it's a learned trait, and you were executing what they asked for. Terrance was asking for an underhook when you were grappling with him, and you bam, you did it right away. All the things that I was asking you to do on my couch, you were doing too. So that was fantastic. And you couldn't
Hey,
even hear me. So that ESP,
telepathy, man.
yeah, that ESP telepathy, whatever you want to call it, it's tuned up. The first round, one way traffic, and we know like that was probably part of the game plan. You knew he was going to want top control. You knew that he was going to want to try to ground and pound, but Terrance had also told me like we knew all that stuff, but we knew we were going to be able to catch that guy. Like when you were able to put in that choke on him, like did you know right away like oh yeah it's over, or is it just one of those like things where it's like white noise and then before you know it, like the referee's ripping you off this kid?
Luckily I was able to be pretty in tune with the moment because I shot in a Darce originally, like a guillotine Darce type, like hybrid almost. And then I adjusted to an Anaconda, which is what I finished with because when I shot it in at first, it wasn't super deep and he would have been able to pull out of it. But so like I was just fighting. And at that point, that was just something that was kind of muscle memory at that point, adjusted to the Anaconda, which is essentially the same choke, but opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended up, I think, getting back on top of me. And it was kind of iffy then. But then once I rolled back on top and was able to like really corkscrew my hips and just put all I had a pretty good idea. It was in, man. Just hold it.
You won the fight. Even in victory, I think you were a bit of a stoic because it was probably I don't know, a surreal experience where you're just like, holy shit, did that just happen? Can you like walk me through like kind of what was going on in your mind? Was it just like exhilaration? Was it still trying to process everything that had happened? Like you've been in a lot of fights before, and everyone says like, oh, it's just like any other fight. But I'm like, but this really wasn't just like any other fight. So what was that experience like for you, being able to get your very first professional win on that sort of stage?
Yeah, right when it happened, I it's funny, it kind of looks like I was kind of just stone faced or whatever, kind of walked, but man, I was like, it just kind of happened. And then, when you go from being in a firefight 10 seconds before to you're done fighting, it just kind of like, it takes a few seconds, just like you said. And then, the crowd going super loud. And I looked out and see my family going all crazy out in the crowd. And I was like, holy shit, that just happened. That's what's up, man. That's cool.
Well, you went out there, you delivered, and one of the things I wanted to ask you, Blake, is when we're talking about Bellator MMA, the thing that makes that promotion so cool is they deliberately try to get like local fighters on these cards. Like they try to fill out their undercards by giving guys from the regional scene their stage. I think that's really cool, and I think that's one of the reasons why, even though they throw me in jail and treat me like a piece of shit, why I like that promotion, because they give guys a chance. You're not gonna get that anywhere else. Like you're not gonna get that from like UFC, where it's like, oh, like we're in Cleveland. Let's go to the Cleveland gyms and like get some guys to fill out our undercard. It doesn't work like that, but with Bellator it does. And it's great. It's great for guys like you. It's great for guys that are trying to build up their resume to get that sort of big fight experience. I've talked to a bunch of other guys that are on the regional scene. What sort of advice would you give them if they're tagged up for like a Bellator card? Is there something that you would tell somebody and that'll end up in your position one day where it's like, hey, we know that you're only 2 or 3 fights into your pro career, but hey, we have a card here. We want you to be a part of it.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I say hop on it, man, because like you just said, you're not going to get that with a lot of other promotions. It's I'm just super, super fucking grateful for that first fight because they could have easily looked elsewhere. I hadn't even had a professional fight yet, and then one of the biggest promotions in the world, had me to fight on their undercard. That's pretty unique. for a promotion to do that. Like you said, like look out for local dudes, and so that definitely projected my career in the right direction. And so I guess any advice I would say to someone who has that opportunity come up is just hop on it, man. Like no matter the scenario, I don't, whether it's short notice, a super tough opponent, you're picked to win, you're not picked to win, fucking hop on that, man. Like the worst thing that happens is, you don't win on one of the biggest promotions in the world, and then you just opened up 100 other opportunities. Especially if you're in the beginning of your pro career, why not?
Why not indeed? And I think one of the biggest things that you have going for you now is having been on that sort of stage. You're kind of you have like a benchmark in your mind, so it's like, okay, so however many years down the road, when they're like, hey, we want to like give you a Bellator multi-fight deal, or we want you to be on the UFC, it's like, okay, well, I have an idea of what it'll be like. I've fought in a big arena before. I've done media before. I've done like the photo shoots. Like I've been part of the promotion. So it's for all those experiences. I think the fighting is just the cherry on top, but all these other experiences that you can see what it's like to be a part of in a very, very high level. I think that would really make me at ease if I were in a position like that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like yeah, like you already said, that was obviously like 10 steps ahead of any, as far as all that, like the people in the crowd and all the build up and publicity, media, all that kind of stuff. I haven't had anything even close to this last fight. So that was a big, it felt good, to be honest, like to be able to handle that. And like you said, just have that in the holster, that I know that, I can go out when there's a lot of people watching at home and on YouTube or Showtime, whatever it is, and I can go out there and perform just like, when I'm fighting at trampoline places, or, wherever they have me fight, so that's it. It was nice to know, for me as someone who's never done it on that scale, it was, yeah, nice to be able to get the job done when there's a lot of lights on you.
And to come back with that 1-0 record, like, of course, nobody expects to go into their pro debut and lose it.
Sure.
So I think that's like an important part of it too. It's like, no, like you got in there and you won your first pro fight, and that's like the dream fight. Like not everyone gets an opportunity to debut on that sort of stage, but you were able to do that. You were able to come home with a victory that had to have felt good. I am a little surprised though, because that just happened. All this crap just happened like 3 or 4 months ago, and here we are at the end of July. You're going to fight again. Uriah Faber has a promotion called A1 Combat. It's based out of the greater Sacramento area. I know you're not fighting in Sacramento. I know you're fighting in Modesto. A little bit different, but by and large, we're talking about that same general part of California. Was that always your plan, to take another bout in the summer? Can you talk a little bit about how this opportunity came up to fight on the A1 Combat card?
Yeah. So, I think kind of everyone at our gym is, Caesar, Terrance, everyone kind of has that same mentality of, when it's strike when it's hot. If you're doing well, don't take too long off, because it's a crazy sport. And I know it's cliche and corny, but it really is a young man's game.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that if things are going good, keep at it, man. And that was kind of my mentality with this. I just fought a couple months ago, and I try and think of it from a different perspective, as opposed to, oh, I just fought, it's time to take a big long break. I figured, I literally just finished up a camp. I'm close to weight. I'm feeling great, in shape. Didn't take a crazy amount of damage. I had a nice little cut on my forehead, but after a couple of weeks, I was healed up. So I figured, why not? I feel good. I'm right where I need to be. I like fighting. I like getting paid. Let's do it, man. Let's run it back.
And as beautiful as Hawaii is, you don't have a hell flight to go through. You don't have to do that 4 hour flight. That's no fun. You're talking about a fight that you can drive to. That's pretty much right up the street from where you live. So that's got to be nice for there to not be all those logistical hassles that you might have gone through the first time.
Yeah, very much so. Especially with now all the COVID regulations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier. To fight week be focusing on fighting as opposed to
Yeah.
different plane tickets and hotels and traveling from here to there and Ubers and food and blah blah blah. It's nice to, like you said, just fight. I think at the most it'll be an hour drive from the gym, so literally right there.
You could fight and you could sleep in your own bed that night, and that's got to be a good feeling to
exactly.
know that you'll be going 2-0 and you aren't going to have to travel very far. Your opponent, we have to talk about this guy.
Sure.
One of the coolest Tapology photos I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Not really sure what he's got going on there, but I respect the hustle. He's got a dinosaur jumper on. That's at least what it looks like. And he's got a belt around it. I think that's pretty dope. So, I mean, this Marcel McCain guy, if your Tapology photo is that, you're a badass. Like, I'm not fooled. I'm not fooled by the 0-1 record, and I'm certainly not fooled by his Tapology photo. And doing some research on this guy, I've come to find out that he's actually a badass. He took some time off, but it looks like he's back. He last competed in 2017, but you really can't look too much about that version of him from 2017 because that was a long time ago. I'm sure this guy's been working in the gym really hard to, kind of erase that from his mind. When you are having to prepare for somebody like this, who, again, like all the film on them, it's super old, and you can probably get a sense of what they're good at, but this is a game about constant evolution. Is there something about this opponent that you knew about? Like, have you seen this guy in the California fight scene before? Can you tell me a little bit about how the bout with McCain came to fruition?
Yeah. So first off, I did see his Tapology photo, and it's pretty great. I got to give it to him. It's probably the best I've ever seen. So that alone, I got respect for him already. But yeah, no, as a fighter, he's super talented. I've watched, like you said, I take it with a grain of salt because it's literally from 5-6 years ago, at the newest and the most recent ones. So yeah, super tough, man. Very, very well rounded. From the stuff I've seen, good striking, really good wrestling, good grappling. I think I've seen finishes of him submitting people, knocking them out, ground and pound wrestling. So no, he's very, very tough fighter. And yeah, I mean, he lost his pro debut, but he had a really long amateur career, and he's like 7-1, 8-1, something like that. So he's a very tough fighter, and this is years ago too. So
right.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch, see his style and whatnot, but at the same time, not too much, man. Not paying attention to it too much because that's so long ago. Like you said, you literally can be a different person. I'm assuming he's been busting his ass in the gym since then, and I'm prepared for the best version of him that no one has seen yet. And so I think I know I'm a good fighter, and they've matched us up for a reason. So it's going to be a banger, man. I'm excited, and yeah. So I think
what's bizarre, Blake, about this fight is this guy is from the area, and if I read it right, now of course things could change between now and actual fight night, but one would only presume that you are going to be the red corner for this one, and that has got to be kind of weird for you because you're not the red corner, you're the blue corner.
Yeah, that's
bizarre to me. It's like yeah. Well, not bizarre. Like, I'm surprised you're the red corner, but it's like Blake's like the underdog. Like, you're not supposed to be the favorite of anything. Like, like that's just not supposed to happen. We're supposed to be like overlooked, and that's supposed to like be part of the superpowers. The Blake Perry fan club is in full throttle. Like it's like the reverse of what happened in Hawaii. Everyone thinks you're gonna win, at least according to Tapology right now. I know you don't pay attention to that crap because you got other things to do,
Mhm.
but the nerds of us that are in this game, we pay attention to it, and it's bizarre. Looking at it right now, 97% of Tapology right now is on the Perry bandwagon.
Nice. I have good friends. They all voted. No,
Apparently, but I know it's stupid and I know it's trivial and it doesn't matter. But like, dude, when we just for perspective, it was like the opposite of this. Like you went to Hawaii, we were like in single digits. I think we ended up finishing at like 10%. So
let's
that
go.
just shows, right? So that just goes to show that like the small segment of people that thought you had what it takes. So like, how do you like kind of like put all that stupid trivial stuff out of your brain and just think to yourself like, you know what, we don't care about that crap. I know I don't care. I know he doesn't care. Like this is a fight, and like the what happened in Hawaii happened in Hawaii. I'm not in Hawaii anymore. Like I'm here and I'm fighting Marcel McCain, and that guy wants something. Like he wants a win over me. So it is like from a focus standpoint, is there something that you have to do to make sure you take all that stuff into account?
Yeah, so I think, I to avoid just saying the obvious, that I don't really, I try not to pay attention to that stuff too much. And
Yeah.
I honestly don't. Like, I know a lot of people probably say that, but then they're like looking stuff up. And I really try to avoid it because, I've had, fights where I was a ridiculous underdog, and I've heard about it, whatever. I'm like, wow, really? Like, it's kind of crazy. And I'm sure if he does pay attention, he's thinking the same thing. I'm sure he's like, fuck this dude. Like,
Right.
and it is what it is. Whether I'm a huge underdog or I might be picked to be the favorite, I just do my best to always train as if I'm the underdog and get in my mind that, everyone thinks I'm going to lose, and I just can't wait to go out there and just prove everyone wrong. That's kind of how I operate best. And because a lot of times it is true, and then other times if it's not, I have to manufacture it in my head. I don't care if I'm the favorite or not. That's where the nobody MMA thing kind of comes in, man. Whether we're favorites or not, we train and prepare like we're just some dudes down the street. So
And that's what I love so much about you guys, because there are fighters that and I wouldn't give them too much crap about it, because it's like, dude, you like pulled one out of the hat. You won a fight nobody thought you were going to win. That's fantastic. That's great. You got all that exposure. But then sometimes with younger fighters, what you'll see is they fall flat in that second fight. Like all of a sudden, it's like there's a guy that is feeling disrespected and just as hungrier than you, and you get elbowed in the face, and it's like, oh wow, he did not care one bit about my Hawaii fight, right? So it's like having that sort of mentality, and like, no, like that was one fight, and that just means I have to work that much harder the second go around, because I have to prove to everyone that it wasn't a fluke. And I would imagine that is probably nobody MMA 101 right there. I clept that shit just now.
There we go, man. Perfect.
Honorary member Blake. Before I let you go, I just want to say I appreciate your time. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I want to give you an opportunity to shout out whoever that you would like. And if you want to make fun of Terrance, that's okay too. You can definitely do that. Whatever you prefer.
Oh, okay, awesome. First off, I want to give a shout out to my mom, Denica, for winning her fight. It's pretty fucking cool, and it was awesome to be a part of. As always, give a shout out to my girlfriend Selena and my dog Buddha.
Right.
Literally my dog, like my canine Buddha. I say dog a lot when I'm talking about people, but literally my dog. And then everyone at my gym, nobody MMA, of course. There's too many to list, but Terrance, Caesar, Amini, Drew, my buddy Drew's been helping me a lot for this fight. Everyone, Devin, Bobby Saronio's gym, we're always with, Coach Sonny, Devo, the whole list. And then trying to think what to make fun of Terrance for. I try and get in at least one like Mulan joke a month, you know, it's just honestly it comes down to jealousy. His hair is so cool.
It really
Flowy.
is.
It is.
He does look amazing. He really does. Everything
He
about him
does.
is everything about that guy's dreamy. I'm not, you know, I said what I said. I'm comfortable with who I am. I'll say it
Yeah.
again too. He's amazing. But you know what? So are you. I'm looking forward to this fight, my man. And I'm a little disappointed I can't bet on it this time. I don't think you can bet on. Well, maybe if I find a real sus website, I could bet on it, but I might not get paid. So when you win, so maybe that's not a
Right.
good sign. But Blake, again, I really appreciate your time, my man, and I will be talking to you again when you're 2-0 and we're getting ready to go 3-0.
Yes, sir.
All right,
And
my man.
one more thing, real quick. I just want to give a shout out to you too, man, for sponsoring me and always having me on the show and all of that, man. I know you do it because you love it and you love helping the fighters, but that truly helps a lot, man. Because without this kind of stuff, you know, our word doesn't get out and the promotion, and it's funny because that stuff helps us to get better opportunities just as much, if not more, than our fighting abilities. Like if I go out there and knock someone out and no one sees it and no one really cares, then I might as well, you know what I mean? In terms of the next opportunity, it might as well not happen.
Well,
Whereas with guys like you,
that's why I do it, man. Like I really think it is it's just good karma. And like I don't really like how the scene is really like represented. Like it's let me talk to every like blue check mark dude I can find. And you know what, like, hey, hats off to the shows that do that. I'm not throwing shade at them, but that's not really what I'm about. I'm not going to stroke this whole channel isn't about me. This whole platform isn't about me. It's about um giving people an opportunity to tell what their story is and to give them a platform. I think every fighter should get a platform. And if they don't have one, then hit me up. That's what I'm here for, because I want to learn something new. Like, I don't want to like hear a podcast about Shevchenko. I fucking know she's good. Like, what am I going to learn? Like, yeah, I'm going to fucking win. Like, yeah, I know that. But like, I need to like invest 30 minutes of my life into that? I don't think so.
right.
So, but I appreciate those kind words, my friend, and we will do it again when you are 3-0. Blake, always a pleasure, and we'll talk soon. Careful grilling tonight. Don't get those grease splatters messing up your beautiful chest ink. We don't want any of that.
Hey, I appreciate it. I'll send you pictures of the meal, and you'll have to give me the feedback like Gordon Ramsay.
I certainly will, my man. All right, Blake, take care, buddy.